Welcome, friends. Retro Commodore. Space Magic. This is Night Mission Pinball for the Commodore 64. So, we're just going to play a little. This game is doesn't have many colors, but it is rendered in the Commodore 64's high-resolution mode. And, yeah, this was the first pinball game I ever had for the Commodore 64. So, here we go. Let's just start with, say, 3 credits. You have to use F7 to pull back the plunger now. If you remember on the Commodore 64 keyboard, F7, the F keys are off on the right, so it's positioned sort of like you're working the plunger, but you have to hit F7 a lot. Oh, once you start the game, that is. Which is, there we go. You have to keep hitting it. Come on, pull that sucker back. And there are a variety of keys. You can't play the game with the joystick. There are a variety of keys which work the paddles. We're going to use the right arrow key and the tab key. Those are positioned fairly well. So we'll just give it a play. I think when it comes to pinball games, one way you can get an idea of how good an emulation it is if you hold the ball like this. Because on some games, if you hold the ball like this in the bottom corner of the paddle, it tends to bounce around a lot. And in this game, the ball just sits there very nicely, so that's good. And even though, again, it doesn't have many colors, and it can do that, it does have some interesting sounds, which one would sort of expect and sort of hope from the Commodore 64. Some of those good old interesting sounds. Boink. I also think it's kind of a neat touch having the ball trail when the ball starts going fast. And I will say that perhaps because of the lack of colors, because it's just black and white, it does make it a little easier, I think, to keep track of the ball. You're not really losing the ball on the background. Whoop. You can always do that, though. Okay, now we have a flashing target in the upper left hand. Boobadoo. That's the scientific term. Some of those sweet points. Sweet points. Come on. You can't switch, you know, in some pinball games you can switch the highlighted lane, if you want to call it that, by hitting the flippers. In this game it doesn't work that way, so you just got to try to hit it. Ball 4. I thought I set it for 3 balls. I guess we must have earned another one in there somewhere. Come on, there we go. Very nice. Now can we do it again? That's the question. Oh, yep, we can do it again apparently. And we can do that again too. Isn't that magic? Maybe I set it for 5 balls? I don't remember. That's right, I don't remember. There are a handful of different pinball games for the Commodore 64. But this was the first one I ever had. And the other pinball games, some of them are arguably better in some ways, especially the graphical department, but this is sort of a special game in my estimation. Now it really wants us to hit that left side lane by the flipper. So, of course we do that. And that radar scope, or whatever you want to call it, in the upper left-hand side of the board, that's one of the hardest places to hit. That little lane right there. Okay, let's go specifically. Oh, I see. That's 5 credits, because it had 3, now it's 5. Well, that's fine. With a lot of pinball games, you start off with 5 credits anyhow. Can we beat the high score? Yeah, hardware. I used to play it quite a bit myself. I think one of my favorite things of when I used to play it, when I used to have it, I wasn't too concerned with the points. I just didn't pay much attention to that. I just liked getting a lot of the little bomb things in the middle. How, like, when you lose a ball, it goes through this process right here. And I used to like getting as many of those as I could because I thought it was fun how it would do that bang, bang, bang thing when you lost the ball. But, you know, when I had my first Commodore 64, a lot of games I played that way, where I didn't necessarily play them the way they were intended to be played. I just played them to sort of goof around and have fun. Come on, I. Come on, I. Come on, left. I don't think there's a table bump, a tilt mechanic, so you can't bump the table that I know of. You know, I'm hitting spacebar, it doesn't do anything. Oh, that was almost the eye right there. Well, there we go. I also liked it when the ball would get going really fast with the big long trail and with all the swooshing sound. Oh, there we go. That's usually the hardest target to hit in the game. In the game is that lane right there. I don't think it's worth a ton of points, except for maybe when it's lit up or something, but just the way the game is designed. Bonus points is so nice to have. Oh, well, it's pointing. There's an arrow. See, a flashing arrow pointing that direction, that side lane. So maybe it was a good thing to hit. No, Kazozo, you're right. It generally doesn't want to go in the small lane. It does not. Oh, I was going to mention before, you actually can change the colors of the game. There are a few keys you can use to change the background color and the foreground color. But it's still just a two-color game, however you set it up. And the black and white is really the best way to play it. It's the clearest way to play it. Ah, that's great. That was just beautiful. I wonder, when really good, fun pinball games started coming out for the home systems, the home computers, the home video game systems, I wonder if it affected how much money the actual arcade pinball games were making. I mean, certainly, especially in those days, the arcade pinball games were more complex than what the home computers had at the time. But still, when you could play the home computer as much as you wanted without having to actually put in any coins. I suppose the other benefit of the arcade pinball machines was simply getting a high score that everyone could see. I mean, you play the home game, and especially in those days, the only other people seeing your high scores are your, family and friends. Whereas in the arcade, you get the high score, and it's sort of a social environment. You can visit with other people, and the other people that play the game can see your initials on the high score table. Oh, there we go. Now that's put a little block thing, a little ramp thing on the left lane by the flipper to protect that. Getting all kinds of special table setups now. Oh, come on. Almost got that arrow. Oh. I was going to try to let it bounce off the center block thing onto the tip of the flipper and try to send it up that left lane again. Obviously, it didn't work that way. Yeah, I agree. I think that the much flashier, fancier arcade games in general affected pinball quite a bit. And then, once the home computers and home video game systems got to the same level with, you know, graphics and sound and such as the arcade games, then that affected the arcade in general. Okay, we got in that nice little side lane again. Now, if we can just get that letter I and not do that, just not do that, that'd be great. Swoopa-doopas, says the sound effects. Oh, them swoopa-doopas. Don't... See, now there's a perfect example of what not to do with the flippers, just so you know. Almost. Almost got the eye. At least the letters don't reset when you lose the ball. Like with a lot of arcade games, or a lot of pinball games, they do. But here they don't. Whoop. Although I have to say, as much as I enjoyed this game, still enjoy it, you know, it's a special pinball game for me. I think my favorite computer pinball games are probably Silverball and Epic Pinball. I think Silverball at least was released on the Amiga, as well as DOS systems. Epic Pinball, I've only seen it on DOS systems before, so I'm not sure if it was ever released for the Amiga. Oh, geez. I don't think it's saving our high scores, or maybe because we're not getting a high enough score to save our high score. Well, I have enough time to play one more round. One more round. And right off the bat. That's great. Woo! Thank goodness for that little bumper thing in the middle there. And you know, another pinball game, sort of a game, that I really enjoyed back when I rented it for the Sega Genesis, was the Pinball Construction Set, I think it was called. And there again, it was a really fun game. You could build your own pinball tables, and they were pretty good pinball tables. But you could only share them with whoever had access to your game cartridge. Now, I think they should make another game like that now, where you could share your tables online, because, I mean, that's a perfect fit for an online type of game. Oh, come on. And, you know, I think that'd be fun. It could have like a built-in table browser type thing. I mean, especially with the popularity of Super Mario Maker these days, the different game companies should see the popularity of people being able to create their own content, make their own courses and levels and things like that, and share them with other people to play. So I think a pinball construction set like that could be really good, and it could certainly lead to plenty of YouTube videos of people playing each other's tables and trying to get high scores and things like that. Sort of bring back some of that high score competitiveness of arcade pinball games. One letter to go. Whoop. Let's try to aim this a little more carefully. Oh, come on, get up there. Now let's see, can we aim it at the H, or at least make an attempt? Now there's so many bumpers in the way, it makes it difficult to actually aim anything for a specific target up there, but you know, we got it anyhow, so that's good. That is good. Oh, nope. Should have used the left flipper. The left flippery dipper. Go. Could have gotten in the 700-point slot lane or the 300-point lane, but no, of course not. Up we go! Yeah, the way this table is laid out, a lot of it is just simply smacking the ball up there and not doing that, and seeing what it bounces off of. Well, hey, we got at least a higher score this time, I think. Anyhow, that's really all I have the time for at the moment, but thanks for joining. Herdware Kazozo, thanks for watching. Of course, tune in again next time for more retro fun.